What's going on, everybody? It's me again, the always controversial gold and blue dude. And it doesn't matter whether you agree with me or disagree with me. It's all about entertaining you because it is a long off season for college football and I'm here to get you through it. So please hit that like and subscribe button and help us get to that 10,000 subscriber mark. Don't forget to check out our Patreon page. A lot of time and effort going into that. And I call my Patreons the shot callers because I let them call the shots with video ideas and what teams I do previews and predictions first this year. We also have a great website designed and created by Joey Foster, 8 great writers led by our head writer Michael Walker. And I can't forget about our merchandise store. A lot of great stuff over there, and as you can see, I have my 2 t-shirts. I'm sure you'll find something for you. On this particular video, I'm going to talk about where game day should go each week. And we're actually going to run a contest through this college football season for College Game Day. If you can get a gold and blue dude sign onto College Game Day, we will award you a $100 credit for the merchandise store. And yes, you can win multiple times. So if you can get the sign up on there 3 times, that's $300 towards our merchandise store. And if we have weeks to where there's multiple entries, then I'll have to look and see who has the best sign. But I'll still award those other entries for that week some smaller prizes. So make the best gold and blue dude sign possible and get on College Game Day. Now, I do have to say this. Where they choose to go every week depends on ranked matchups and how important it is of a game. So they base their choices on a week-to-week basis. So this is total guessing other than week 1, because things can change from week to week. But in week 1, here's where I think College Game Day will go. There's really just 4 options. You have Oregon, Georgia, and Atlanta. I think the backyard brawl is a decent option. West Virginia at Pitt, and then Utah at Florida. But I think College Game Day will go to Notre Dame at Ohio State. A lot is on the line in the very first game for both of these teams, and Ohio State fans are expecting a playoff berth this year. I think College Game Day will be at the Horseshoe in week 1, and they really don't have all that much competition, so I think that's basically a lot. On to week 2. Where should College Game Day go for week 2? Here's your 4 choices. Tennessee at Pitt, and that depends on if Pitt survives West Virginia. Kentucky at Florida, that could be a decent draw right there. Baylor at BYU. But the game that I would pick is Alabama at Texas. 2 massive brands, and ESPN is all about money, money, money. And those are 2 of the biggest brands, so that's going to bring in money. I think that's a lot. I think Texas fans' hopes will be high. I think Alabama will blow their hopes out of the water and blow them out in the actual game. But for the pregame, there's going to be a lot of hype going into this. College Game Day will go to Austin in week 2. Week number 3, where should College Game Day go in week number 3? At first, I had Penn State at Auburn. That's a pretty big matchup. Georgia at South Carolina. That's a pretty good option. Miami at Texas A&M. BYU at Oregon. But the game that I would pick, Oklahoma at Nebraska. This is a great rivalry. They don't get to play each other that much. It's going to be a great atmosphere. And Nebraska fans, their hopes are going to be high as well. College Game Day should go to Lincoln, Nebraska in week number 3. What about week number 4? Where should College Game Day go for week number 4? Well, we have Arkansas at Texas A&M. That's a pretty good option. Florida at Tennessee could actually mean something this year. Kansas State at Oklahoma. That game will mean something, and Kansas State usually has Oklahoma's number. But the game that I think College Game Day should go to, Notre Dame at North Carolina. But this depends on how Notre Dame looks against Ohio State. North Carolina will have a great shot to upset Notre Dame at home, and a lot will be on the line as far as North Carolina's ACC title hopes, and I do think they do have hopes. College Game Day should go to Chapel Hill in week number 4. On to week number 5. Here are the options. Alabama and Arkansas. Decent option. NC State at Clemson. I always love a good revenge game. That is a very good option. Michigan and Iowa. Could be. But the game that I would pick would be the Big 12 Championship rematch. Oklahoma State and Baylor. A lot will be on the line. Both of those 2 teams will be ranked. It will draw a lot of eyeballs. I do think College Game Day will go to Waco in week number 5 for the 2022 college football season. What about week number 6? Well, we have Texas A&M at Alabama, the revenge game for Alabama. Auburn, Georgia, that's always a great rivalry. Texas and Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. Notre Dame at BYU, the Catholics versus the Mormons. Ohio State and Michigan State, that's the one that I did have circled, but I changed my mind. Texas A&M at Alabama, that's going to draw a lot of eyeballs because Texas A&M did beat Alabama last year. And you know Alabama will blast in this year. But the atmosphere will be electric before the game. College Game Day will go to Tuscaloosa for week number 6. Week number 7, where are they going to go for week number 7? Auburn at Ole Miss, depending on what Auburn does this year. And then Penn State, Michigan, that's a pretty good option. But I think they will head to Knoxville for Alabama at Tennessee. I think Tennessee has a shot, not a massive shot, but a shot to upset Alabama at home. That atmosphere is going to be electric. It will draw eyeballs. I think College Game Day should go to Knoxville for week number 7. But like I said, it depends on if both teams are ranked and what's at stake. Week 8, where should they go for week 8? Well, you got Ole Miss, LSU. If LSU has a big bounce back year, that could be an option. UCLA at Oregon, the first Pac-12 matchup that I've mentioned. What about Purdue, Wisconsin? That could be a good game. Iowa and Ohio State could draw a little bit of interest, but the one that I'm looking at is Texas A&M at South Carolina. I think South Carolina is going to be a much better team. This could be a ranked versus ranked matchup. Draw in eyeballs, draw in money. So if Texas A&M and South Carolina can come into this game with less than 2 losses, so I'm talking about a 1-loss Texas A&M and a 1-loss South Carolina, then I think College Game Day should go to Columbia, South Carolina for week number 8. And if they do that, trust me, Gold and Blue Dude will go there to represent Gold and Blue Dude. I can go to a Clemson game or a South Carolina game driving distance. And of course, I'll go to West Virginia games. We're going to get Gold and Blue Dude on College Game Day. So I'm really hoping that they go to Columbia, South Carolina in week 8. And backpedaling to week 5, I wouldn't be upset at all if they chose NC State at Clemson. That's 20 minutes away. I'll take that all day long. Week number 9, where should they go in week number 9? Well, you have Ole Miss and Texas A&M. That could be a massive draw. Michigan State at Michigan. I like that as well. Cincinnati at UCF, the first group of 5 matchup I've mentioned. And then, of course, Florida, Georgia, great rivalry. But the game that I would choose, Ohio State at Penn State. I think Penn State going to have a massive bounce back year this year, and Penn State will be looking to knock off Ohio State at home. This could be a big ranked versus ranked matchup. Whiteout conditions at Penn State. College Game Day could be headed to Penn State in week number 9. What about week number 10? Now we're getting way out there, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Alabama, LSU, depending on what LSU does. Tennessee at Georgia, that could actually mean something this year. Baylor at Oklahoma, that's the one that I should choose, right? I also thought about Clemson, Notre Dame, but I think NBC will grab that game. So I'm going to stick with Baylor, Oklahoma. I think it'll have huge Big 12 implications. It will be ranked versus ranked, so it will draw a lot of eyeballs and a lot of money. So I think for week number 10, College Game Day should go to Norman, Oklahoma. What about week number 11? Where should they go week number 11? Well, we have Wisconsin, Iowa. That could be decent. LSU to Arkansas. That could be okay. Texas A&M and Auburn. Depends on what Auburn does. Alabama, Ole Miss. I was very tempted to circle that, and that might actually turn out to be the actual destination. But I think in week number 11, they should go to Oklahoma at West Virginia. I think West Virginia will have a big bounce back year this year. They could go into this game with just 1 loss, and Oklahoma could go into this game with just 1 loss or undefeated. Ranked versus ranked. Morgantown, West Virginia. Let's do it. College Game Day should go to Morgantown, West Virginia in week number 11. Now on to week number 12. Where should they go in week number 12? Miami at Clemson. That is a big, big option. Quite honestly, I hope they do that. Like I said, 20 minutes away. Let's get it done. What about Ole Miss at Arkansas? That's a decent option. And I almost circled Oklahoma State at Oklahoma, but I wanted to give some love to the Pac-12. I think in week number 12, they should go to Utah at Oregon. That's right. I think College Game Day should go to Eugene, Oregon for week number 12. I think the Pac-12 deserves a game day, and this is the game they should choose. Finally, the last week number 13. This is the most difficult week to choose. It is rivalry week. A lot of great games. We have LSU at Texas A&M, West Virginia at Oklahoma State, Notre Dame at USC, Michigan State at Penn State, the Iron Bowl, Auburn at Alabama. But the game that I'm choosing, go back to the horseshoe College Game Day, because Michigan at Ohio State is the game you need to go to. This will probably have Big Ten championship implications and possible playoff implications. This is going to be one of the biggest games of the year. So for week number 13, rivalry week, head on over to the horseshoe again. Y'all let me know in the comment section where you think College Game Day should go in each and every single week for the 2022 college football season. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on my next show.